Climate change is likely the biggest threat that humanity as a whole currently faces. And we've actually known about this for decades now. But unfortunately, fossil fuel industries have known about it for a little bit longer than the general public. And that's given them a leg up, I guess you could say, in terms of crafting the narratives around climate change. But they're not alone. They've got lots of money pouring in, millions of dollars a year to fund misinformation. And I'm joined now by investigative reporter Alex Koch. He's with Exposed by CMD, and he's also the co-founder of the Opt Out app, which we will talk more about in just a little bit. But Alex, thank you for joining me. You've got a wonderful new report out, The Dirty Dozen, about climate change denial and all the money flooding into this. So start at the top, man. This is a pretty big report that we have here.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for having me on, and big fan of Ring of Fire. So yes, at the Center for Media and Democracy, we published recently my report on the top, or the Dirty Dozen, nonprofit funders of climate misinformation. So as you said, oil giants have for a long time been misinforming the public about climate change and its causes and its effects. But there's also a lot of nonprofit groups, which include right-wing family foundations, ideological funds, and then also mainstream donor advised fund sponsors, which are essentially money managers connected to big investment firms like Fidelity and Vanguard that are also funding these climate misinformation groups. So I looked at 8 groups that are primarily in the business of climate misinformation. There are other groups that also do a lot of that, but do many other things as well. So I wanted to limit this by organizations like the Heartland Institute, the Competitive Enterprise Institute, the Property and Environmental Research Center. These are, quite conservative think tanks that are mostly concerned with misinforming the public about climate change and the environment, and get funding from folks in the fossil fuel industry, such as Koch Industries CEO Charles Koch. And so I found a number of donors who have given millions of dollars from 2014 to 2020 to these climate misinformation organizations.
And I believe it was the Heartland Institute that several years ago, actually many years ago at this point, they were running the big billboards that had Charles Manson's face on them that said, "I still believe in climate change, do you?" I think that was Heartland. Maybe I'm mistaken about that. But either way, that's the kind of level of misinformation, not just trying to say that, oh, well, the science isn't sure, but literally trying to say, if you believe in climate change, you're like this murderer. I mean, that is some of the more extreme, climate denial, climate misinformation that we have seen within the last 10 years. But it certainly isn't all of it. And when we look at all of these scientific studies, hell, when we look at, patterns right now with the Arctic or Antarctic, 70 degrees on average warmer than usual right now, ice sheets breaking off. We see climate change, okay? We don't even really need more studies on this, because we can open our doors and our windows and, oh my God, it's here. And so their misinformation campaigns have been strong enough, unfortunately, to fight back what we see with our own eyes. And that to me is just absolutely astounding. We see the effects, we see these extreme weather patterns, and yet this money has bought the loyalty of just enough people to make sure nothing ever happens in the United States to actually address these issues.
It is remarkable that we are watching ourselves destroy the planet that we live on. And we have people with billions of dollars in their accounts who are funding misinformation to actually not only perpetuate this system that is dooming our planet and possibly our species, but are actually trying to make it worse, to accelerate climate change. One of the organizations I looked at was the CO2 Coalition, which, as you can tell, is actually a pro-carbon group. I'm actually telling you the truth. They claim that more carbon is actually beneficial for the planet. I mean, this is how bonkers some of this misinformation and climate denial is. And then when Donald Trump became president, he brought in a top leader of the C2 Coalition, William Happer, who is now currently back at CO2 Coalition as the chairman, into his administration.
To get this full interview and access to the complete Ring of Fire podcast archives, sign up at rofpodcast.com and become a member.